All right, good morning, everyone. It is September 1st, and here we are with another Fed League Flash, just 40 days away from the start of the season, which, by the way, a new exhibition game was added to the slate for Saturday, October 12th. The Hudson Valley Venom will be hosting the Danbury Hat Tricks in an exhibition game. That was just announced yesterday, so pretty cool. Anyway, here we are with the great debate about this point slotting system. All right, new system that the league is instituting this year, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of it in just a bit. I solicited the opinions of several people, and thank you. There was about 8 people that got back to me and gave me a lot of good thoughts and a lot of opinion, and I was a little bit surprised by how one-sided the opinions were on this. All right, but again, this is a source of a lot of confusion. So, really quick, let's break down again the definition of the point system. What is it? The point system is it's a talent gauge. All right, and what you do is each player that plays in the Fed this year is assigned a point value based upon their experience, how long they've played, what's the highest level they've played at. The higher level you've played at, the higher your points status is. All right. Here's a little bit of a breakdown. Okay, if you played in Major Junior, like the Q, played in the Q or the OHL or the WHL or Division One NCAA, you are assigned an 8-point value. All right. And that's because it's seen as that's a higher skill level than the Fed. All right. The AHL, if you've played more than 5 games in the AHL, 25 points. All right. Obviously, we're never, ever again going to see an NHL, a former NHL player playing this league. It's not mathematically possible. All right. If you played in the ECHL, if you played under 100 games, it's 4 points. Over 100 games, 8 points. All right. If you played in the SPHL, same thing, under 100, over 100, it's 2 or 4 points. And in the Fed, if you just got Fed experience, depending on how many games you played, your value is anywhere from 1 to 3 points. So, just using as an example, if you have, let me think of somebody. Okay, you have Cam Clark from the Binghamton Black Bears last year. He played 11 games, I believe. It's under 100 games, so his value is a 1. Okay, that's the highest level of experience he has is the Fed. Okay, under 100 games. If you're Justin McDonald, okay, 150 plus games in the ECHL, you're an 8. All right. I don't believe there are any 25-point AHL players currently signed to any rosters on PTOs, so we won't go with that. Anyway, so the most important thing to remember is that each team has a 50-point cap. Okay, this is a cap. Just like we have a salary cap, now there is, for lack of a better term, we're going to call this a talent cap. All right. So here's some questions that come up. All right. What is the penalty? What happens if, and I'm using this as an example because as of right now, this would apply. If the Athens Rock Lobsters took the ice on October 11th against Monroe, and the team's point value collectively is over 50 points, what's the penalty? What does the league do to penalize Athens because they're over the talent cap? We don't know. Nothing's been specified. Nothing's been said, at least not publicly. Which leads me to the next question: why don't we have this in print? Okay, the league sent a statement out to the GMs and the governors, saying this is the point slotting system. These are the values. This is what's going to happen. All right. Um, but it was very poorly worded. A lot of GMs told me that there was a lot of confusion. They really weren't sure how to properly interpret this right away. They're making calls back to the league office. What does this mean? Um, so it wasn't very well worded. Um, it really it created more questions than answers, and for us fans especially, okay, there's nothing in writing, so we have no clue. As a consumer, don't we have a right to know? Yeah, we do. Um, so there needs to be something put in print. The league needs to put something on the website, whether it's on the homepage or under the news section. Uh, Point slotting system, value system. This is how it works. These are the details. Okay, it needs to get up there. It needs to be put out there. This is not. It would be nice to. No, it needs to happen. There needs to be that transparency. All right. Um, the third question I can answer. Okay, why is this being implemented? Basically, for a few years now, it's been well known that to get talent that is from a higher level, gotta shell out some bucks. Well, there's a problem. There's a salary cap. Well, the league has, or the teams have found ways of circumventing that salary cap, under the table payments or alternative compensation. Oh well, Joe Schmo. He's not just our one of our players, but he's also our Zamboni driver. So we pay him for driving the Zamboni. Yeah, there's a lot of creative accounting that goes on, and it's with every team. The league knows this, and so in an attempt to try and level out the playing field a little bit and to get back to a true salary cap, they have implemented this talent cap. That's what you got to call it, to help enforce the salary cap. Is that a good idea? Not according to what a lot of you shared with me. But anyway, okay, so what are the pros and cons of this system? All right, 3 points, really in brief in this. Okay, the system, the 50-point cap, creates more parity and even playing field. So it's obvious that if you've been playing at a higher level and your career is kind of winding down, well, I guess I'll play in the Fed, play another year. You're going to be more apt to want to sign in a place like Columbus or Binghamton or Carolina, teams that have experienced a great deal of success, um, maybe have better facilities. You're more likely to go there than you are to go to Danville or Watertown or, um, Monroe's a new city, but to the Fed, but there's a lot of uncertainty there. So I'm not putting down Danville or Watertown or Monroe at all. It's just that from a player's perspective, if I have been playing for the last 3 seasons in the ECHL and I was a regular, and I realized, hey, this is my last year playing. I'm not getting an opportunity to make an ECHL roster. I'll play in the Fed. All right. Well, where do I want to play? Yeah, Columbus, great facility, great organization, national sponsorships with the team. I think I'm going to go there. I know Danville called me, but it's a very small city. There's not much going on. Um, yeah, that's just the reality of things. All right. It's going to be much harder for the Dashers to recruit than it is for the Black Bears. It's just a matter of fact. All right. Um, so this creates a more even keel. Get talent distributed to each team. All right. It keeps teams within the financial bracket, at least hypothetically. Does that happen in reality? Doubtful. All right. And mainly because we don't know what the penalty is. All right. It also gives more opportunities to players who are just coming out of college or just coming out of juniors, not the major juniors, but the little community out in the middle of Saskatchewan juniors. Uh, Gives those players a better opportunity to play because there's going to be more openings for them. The cons of the system, well, okay, it prevents teams from obtaining a lot of veteran leadership. Um, if you have a player, and I'm using him as an example, okay, Justin McDonald, okay, played 2 years ago in Knoxville, was the league MVP, and decided I want to come back to the Fed. All right, it's a lower level, but I want to come back to the Fed. All right, it was his choice. Nobody put a gun to his head saying you got to come back to the Fed. All right, this system discourages players who want an opportunity to play another season or two uh, from possibly having a job. All right, uh, the castoffs. And I'm using that term to describe the players, that maybe wouldn't be able to earn a job in the ECHL or the SPHL or whatever. They're denied an opportunity from finding a chance to continue to play. Um, so, yeah, and teams again are looking for that veteran leadership. Well, you've got to have so many rookies. You got to watch your points. So, um, you know, um, Joe Schmo, I know you have 8 years of pro experience, but your point cap hit, we can't take it. So, sorry. It's tough. And I mean, these are players that are usually fan favorites. So it's not good for the fans either. All right. Um, and it doesn't truly address the alleged reason for the implementation of this, the alternative compensation. It really, you know, I, I don't see it discouraging teams from paying money under the table. Yeah, I really don't. That's the intent. I don't see how it works. My first impression when I looked at this system was like, okay, well, that's good. But then the more I looked at it and the more I heard from people, the more I dug into this, the less effective I see this system being. All right, so here's some thoughts. I'm just going to read through some thoughts, and this is going to take a little bit. So it's probably going to be about 25-30 minute video today. But I thought, this is something that we're all talking about. So I want to give you a chance to have your voice heard. Okay, so for the people who got back to me, thank you. I'm just going to read these comments, and these are exactly what was shared with me. Again, I'm not sharing who said what, just because I want to respect people's privacy. I want to give you an opportunity to have your thoughts shared, but I don't want to hang you out there and say, oh, well, Fred Flintstone said. So, I don't want Fred Flintstone getting backlash. So, okay, so here are some quotes. I know the league is a prospect league, but retaining retaining fan favorites for a team helps create an atmosphere that people want. Also, the fans and organizations obviously want to win. All right, other thoughts. Everyone says that they want this league to be taken seriously, and then you put the slotting system into place that will say, no, we don't want your ECHL, AHL guys playing here. All right. Let's see. It's already been proven Fed players can play with ECHL guys, so why not allow them into the Fed? If Athens coach Steve Martinson wants to field an ECHL driven team, it's a great way for players at this level to see where they really stand. Require 6 to 8 rookies and then stop limiting everything else. All right, let's see. The league should absolutely completely get rid of it. If players want to be able to play for a team, they should be able to. If coaches want these players, they should be able to go get them regardless of point status. Okay, let's see. If a team is over the limit and players can't play, it makes them feel like they aren't welcome because other players get a priority. Let's see. I don't think points should be added to a player's total if they got called up as a look-see. The entire point is to give players a chance. If they get called up for a game or two to the next level, the next level points shouldn't be applied. In a goalie's case, he might sit on the bench and not play, and then points get added. All right. Let's see. It's a twisted backwards version of the NHL salary cap, where the league is trying to create as much parity as possible. All right. So I would take it to say that person is saying, hey, a player, if a team gets a wealth of riches, good on them. They should be able to. Okay, it's now recognized the SP as a step up. We're no longer dying on the equal hill. That's a good point. Because there's more points on the SP than the Fed. Somebody asked, what is the penalty for playing above the max number? Okay, Babin was used as an e-bug. Didn't see playing time in the ECHL. It's kind of unfair. He had 33 games in the Fed and 1 game getting splinters in his arse. That artificially inflates his value. Okay. What about people like Ian White and Darren McCarthy? They were out of hockey, but making their way back up the ladder. The system would prohibit situations like that. If you want to find out more about Ian White, go to the Slang and the Biscuit podcast with Travis Ridgen. This was one of the podcasts that he did that I really enjoyed. He interviewed Ian White. Ian White told his story about how he went from being Nicholas Lidstrom's battery pair to being out of hockey and wanting to get back. Great story. Okay, let's see. Other comments. 10 games in the OHL counts as 8 points, but 30 games in the ECHL is only 4. I feel it's going to keep guys out of the league since guys, and force guys to retire. Keep guys from coming back down. Let's see. I was hoping for better competition to help push the Fed past the SP. I don't like how Major Junior counts so much more than the actual pro experience. Kids who didn't cut it at Major Junior won't find a home in the Fed because they count so much versus the cap. I feel like it reduces the talent pool, which keeps the Fed at the bottom of the totem pole. All right, more comments. If this is supposed to be the most fan-friendly league in North America, then release this information officially and explain the reason for it. All right. Let's see, other thoughts. The league already has rookie, pro, and veteran rules in place that they could just alter and add to. For example, strengthen the rookie rule to 8 players. Anyone under 100 games played professionally as a rookie. Then put limits on the highest level performance. Uh, for example, max of 2 from the AHL, or 3 from the ECHL, or 6 from with SP experience. That would be better than saying a player with 5 games in the AHL would be worth 25 points out of 50. Um, that said player may have played just 4 or 5 games over a span of 3 or 4 years, and yet the Fed is going to basically point them out of the league. All right. And the last comment, the league already has a salary cap that teams may or may not be sticking to, but the new point system seems to be going to the extreme far one side and doesn't seem very well thought out. All right. Again, to capsule everything, thank you again for everybody for your opinions. Agreed, this needs to be printed on the website. It has to be. Okay, we fans have a right to know and understand this system, why it's being used, how it's being used, um, what are the consequences. All those details need to be in print. All right. And, and because in the meantime, we're asking questions like, well, how on earth is this going to be enforced? How are you really going to enforce this? What are you going to force teams to forfeit games? You can't do that. Yeah. you force a team to forfeit games, the fans are going to stay away in droves. All right. You're going to drive them away. Okay. Um, Most people think that if this system is going to end up being used, that the point values need to be adjusted, especially for major junior. These are people who are preparing for a pro career. The FPHL is a pro league. So, why are you punishing them with 8 points right off the bat? Because not everybody is a Connor McDavid that plays for the Windsor Spitfires. All right, not everybody is a Mario Lemieux. All right, there's a lot of players who play Major Junior, and then their only other alternative is to go to Senior League. All right, Beer League. That's it. A lot of these guys want the opportunity to play pro. All right, so let's give them that opportunity. All right, so that pretty much covers everything. Let me know your opinions. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, because I feel like, we as fans have a say in how things go with a league, and I feel like the league needs to understand that we fans, it's not just a matter of we don't like the system. It's that we feel that the system, as we look at it, is not practical. It's not a viable solution to solving pre existing problems. Um, there's got to be a better way. I understand the league is trying to move in the right direction and trying to do the right thing, but like someone said, it doesn't seem like this was really well thought out. So, to the Fed, I'm sorry for sounding critical. I love the league. I want it to succeed. I want it to continue to grow. And this is why I make a noise about it. And the other fans with me make a noise about it, is because we want the best league possible. And if you go about things the wrong way, it's not going to be the best league possible. So that's why we say stuff. It's constructive criticism. It's not meant to tear down. It's meant to help. Okay, let's take this information, see what we can do. Let's figure out a better way. And that's what I hope happens as a result of this video. Again, I am not affiliated with the league. I know that there are people from the league that watch this, and thank you. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And again, we're not beating you over the head with broomsticks. We're just saying, please find a better way. All right. So that is it. That is it. Again, let me know in the comments down below. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure to be following me on Facebook, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those good channels. All right. Thank you so much. I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. We'll see you tomorrow with an interview. Yep, I did an interview. So I hope you tune in for it. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. Thanks. Have a great Labor Day weekend. We'll talk to you soon.